Hi, welcome to the Freeman Conversations. I'm Gilbert Alcal, the online editor of the Freeman. Thank you very much for joining us on a Saturday. And it's going to be an exciting conversations today because with us in the studio live are recipients of the GMA 7 Excellence Award, one of whom rather is the 2018 awardee from the University of San Jose Recoletos, and of course, a former intern of the Freeman, Mark Roland Romas. Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Mark. Thank you for coming here today. You just came straight from Manila this morning.
Yes.
And of course, joining us at the panel is the 2017 awardee, also from USJR, and now the reporter of the Freeman, Bigzy Abraham.
Yes, good
Thank you for
afternoon.
spending time with us, Bigzy. I know you were supposed to have commitments today.
Yes. Hi, sir. Hi to my teacher and my teacher, sir. I'm really here. I'm not joking.
I'd like to thank your teacher, of course, Sir Joseph,
Tubilan.
for allowing you to be here this afternoon.
Thank you for excusing me, sir.
Okay, first and foremost, I'd like to congratulate Marco for once again getting the award for USJR and for Cebu. This is the GMA
Excellence.
7 Excellence Award. How does it feel to be the newest recipient of the award?
I am really overwhelmed and I do really feel honored because although I did not know the exact number of the applicants, I know that there were a lot of deserving people who applied for the award, and then at the same time it does not stop the feeling of being honored. Did not stop there. I also feel now the responsibility because I have to carry this responsibility, the sense of accountability that I will be bringing a bigger ano sa tabangin ko ba? Speechless ako. Adjust lang ko.
Okay. It's okay.
I am bringing a bigger responsibility now compared before, as I am
More expectations.
yes, more expectations, and then of course I should share the experience of the people para ma-inspire sila to do better and to do something about their passion and what the things that they love to do. So
Yeah.
yes.
Well, you said earlier you don't know how many actually applied for the award, but we can only assume that there were a lot because this is a nationwide search.
Yes, that's from Luzon to Visayas.
That's right.
So, and then given that there are so many universities across the country and
Correct.
offering the degree programs of communication, advertising, because the category of Mark is GMA communication category. Under it falls the other courses like advertising, MA communication, or mass communications, marketing,
That's
corporate
right.
communications. There's so many
That's right.
degree programs which can join this award, and then of all the many applicants of all the different universities and colleges here in the Philippines, Mark is the chosen one for
And
this
it's
year.
only been a few months since
Yes.
we also awarded him one of our outstanding interns here.
One of our best
the
interns.
Freeman.
The experience really, the Freemans really helped me because during the interview with the panel, I really shared one of my best experience. That was when I was able to take a video of Tatay Eduardo that was featured in Kapuso Mo Jessica Soul story. So
This was the man you saw at
playing a
playing a
violin,
violin at the
Colon
intersection of Colon Street.
yes, and then I shared to them that really social media it's like a superpower that if you use it properly, it can create change to the lives of people, and if you use it improperly as well, it could cause damage or like create chaos. So basically, I shared to them that my experience really in Freeman really helped me and helped me recognize the importance really of social media and the importance of telling stories to people.
It's very good to know. Okay, before we move on to the conversation, I'd also like to, Mark is the awardee for communication.
Yes.
But
There are
this
two.
year, there are now two categories. In the past, during your time,
There were also
there were also
two categories, but
Okay.
during the 2017 edition, I was the only one Bisaya in both communication and the technology-based category. But this time we have one for communication, which is who is Mark, and for the technology we have one from Cebu Technological University.
He was also one of the finalists.
One of
He
the
is one of the
finalists.
finalists in this year's award. We'd like to congratulate also Egbert
Yeah.
Cabajo from
Egbert!
University.
Congratulations!
He is a graduate of Electronics and Communications Engineering. So,
Yes.
to clarify, only those who have already graduated can
Can
qualify
Yes.
and apply
With
the
Latin
award.
honors.
With Latin
With Latin
honors.
honors.
Okay. And of course, in the technology category this year, the winner is John Elmer Loretizo of the Central Philippine University in Iloilo City. Congratulations to all of you and to all the finalists this year. And before we move on, also, Mitzi, you're actually writing the story today for tomorrow's issue.
Yes,
I'd like
yes.
to congratulate our graduates from Cebu Institute of Technology University because two of them topped the August 2018 licensure examination. Michael King Akot Tidado, number 2.
Congrats,
And Daniel Rivera Miguito, number 3.
Yes. Amazing kaayo.
Not bad at all.
And according to my sources, sir, this mining engineering students of CIT, they all every year since 2013,
Yeah.
they always have a top-notcher. So it's a culture of excellence
We
there.
have this slogan, CITU tops again.
Yes.
Every
year.
tops again.
Yeah.
You'd like to say hi to your friend from CIT?
Yes, hi Mark Angel San Nicolas, the former president of
Yeah.
CITU.
I would like also to say hi to Glenn Burst, the best friend of the top 2 this year. Thank you so much for helping me get in touch with the top 2. Thank you.
For the number 2. Okay, we're doing this conversation because this is part of our back to school series in
Yes,
Freeman
yes.
Conversations. We already get to talk to student leaders, achievers, and trailblazers from the different universities in Cebu. And this is actually one of the biggest achievements of USJR so far
Yes.
this year. Okay, the president and CEO of GMA, Attorney Felipe Gozon, gave these exact words referring to you, the awardees this year. They are really the best and the brightest. How does it feel to be described as being among the best and the brightest? These are not simple words. Yeah.
Yes. That really is something na akong wala expect because I think when he said best and the brightest, it's not just about the grades of the winners, but I think it's their contribution to their community as well and to the respective schools. Mura siya holistic. It's not just about the academics.
Has to be.
Yes.
Because I met Attorney Gozon there and he is really a humble man and those words coming from him do really matter a lot. So muna, karon, I am carrying again a bigger responsibility on how will I share this award, this experience to many people because the award becomes more significant if you share this to many people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true.
And of course, the main reason also why I applied for this is to also represent the youth, to be able to be heard more. No, okay. If you have this credibility and you have this parang this award, people tend to listen to you more, and then this really is something that wala dyan ako expect from Attorney Gozon. And thank you so much. And we'd like to thank them for giving this opportunity to students. Okay? I think they are the only who are giving this opportunity every year, and then with the cash prize and with the opportunity of meeting journalists during their studio tours. Marami tawag ka ng makita mo mong self, pero mas ma-inspired ka when you are there.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I'd like to ask, how are you chosen? How are you selected? What was the process of selection after application?
I think initially you will submit your bid book
Yes.
Okay.
containing some pertinent documents, including good mark certificate, transcript of records, and then your the nomination form itself, which contains your academic achievements, social responsibility, and then leadership.
Yes.
Leadership. So
Okay.
you have to attach.
Format provided by the network already.
Okay.
So
And you
you-
submitted this in February? Around
Yes,
that time?
around. I submitted it June, the last because the
Okay.
deadline was June 31. I really submitted it at the last day of the deadline because I was also having some issues with time because I'm working already. So,
Okay.
muna actually the story of making my bid book is daghan jud siya story because a lot of people really helped me in making that bid book. Mitzi was one of it. Yung kong kitabangan on how to.
Who else could help you?
Yes.
Then your predecessor.
Mitzi helped me. My family helped me in cutting out the photos and the certificates I should attach, and then I also attached there actually some outposts from Freeman, and then the University of San Jose Recoletos helped in reproducing as well the bid books because they need 5 copies of the bid books.
Yes, and they're very thick.
That's why your plaque will go to your school.
Yes, because-
Unfortunately, you cannot have plaque to go to your school.
Yeah. So basically that's it. After submitting the bid book, they will announce through an email the top 10. So the top 10 was announced around mid-July, and then after announcing the top 10, they will again select the top 5. So it was announced, I think, the last part of July. So, and after that, interview na tayo there sa Manila.
So before that, all the screening was documentary.
Yes.
Okay.
You really have to put your everything. You have because you're not given the
Chance to
opportunity-
talk.
chance to talk. So you have to let your
The
bid
paper
book
talk. Speak for you, yes.
Yes.
So speaking of the top 5, you were of course in the top 5, but alongside, together really in the top 5 were the representatives from Lyceum University in
Yes.
Batangas,
Oh.
University of the East, Far Eastern University, and Xavier University at
Yes.
Ateneo de Cagayan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we would also like to say hi to Marvin of Xavier because he also reached out.
Yes.
Hi, Marvin.
They're really great people.
Yes.
What tips did you give him?
Actually, just for the benefit of those who are not really familiar yet with GMA, GMA actually is not just an award for just like the Latin honor,
Yeah.
summa cum laude. This has 3 pillars. First is leadership. So one really has to prove first through the documents that he is very active in school in terms of leadership, in organizations, what roles did he play, what projects did he make. There's also academic. That's the part where summa cum laude,
Yeah,
the Latin honors that would be
the
counted
grades,
in
yeah.
the grades. And then for the third pillar, that's the social responsibility. So it's not enough for you to be a leader in your organization or being a Latin
In the
honor.
school.
You need to have community extension programs or projects. What have you done for the benefit of the community? So these are the 3 main
Right.
pillars, the 3 factors which will be the key determinants who will be the GMA awardee for the year. So for this, for when Mark told me that, I made it to the finalist and stuff, we really had an in-depth conversation, heart-to-heart talk.
Okay,
So
in the words of Janea, the award is, or the award recognizes excellence through demonstration of leadership, academic performance, and social responsibility. So the 3 pillars you've mentioned.
Yes,
And
yes.
in the area of leadership, well, Marco
It's
was
no
the
question.
former president
Like
of the Supreme Student Council of USJR. In the area of academics, he graduated cum laude, you graduated magna cum laude. Was it just 0.1 away from being summa cum laude?
And
I would not like to further state the stories behind why there's this
There's
only
always-
1-2.
there's always a reason. Ako sa kay 0.04 to magna cum laude. So it's okay guys.
Wala ko nalayan sa akong teacher. Past is past.
Yeah,
Hi, sir.
social responsibility. And as we all know, while the Latin honors might be an honor to receive during graduation, it's not really a determinant
Yes.
when we are in the professional world.
Yes.
Because there are many magna cum laudes and cum laudes and summa cum laudes in the outside world that we have to compete in,
Yes.
especially in the professional, in our careers. Okay, so what tips did you give him?
Yes, for starters, we really had to go through his profile. What did he write about it? What are his significant achievements? And then one of the key points that I really shared to Mark is you're already an excellent individual. You don't have to say that I've done this, I've done that, I've done so many things. You only need to focus for a few things, significant things that you can share to them. And just like what he said, that was one of the most helpful tips that I gave to him.
Which is?
That's the one. You don't have to share so much things that you do. You only have to pick a few because the interview time is very limited. I think it only runs for about 15, 20
Sa amin kasi,
Yeah.
Tagalog na ako. In our time, it's 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, 15 to
So,
20 minutes. So you have only limited time to share. And pag ganun na, di ba?
Ganun ka pa sa Maynila.
Yeah, actually, ganun na. Anyway, pag ganun naman kasi na, you have limited time, it's really important that you give depth to your
Yes,
stories.
correct.
Because if you tend to talk so much, I've done this, I've done that, everything else
It's
tends so
like-
shallow.
It's like spreading yourself too thinly.
Yes. So that's why what I shared to him is only share probably one of your highlight for the community extension, one for the leadership, and then you can give them a tease and then let them ask the questions.
Yes.
So because
the biggest ones.
yes, the biggest ones. And I also shared to him that it's nice if you get them to kind of getting ma-curious sila and not it's not you giving all the responses all the time. So that was one of the things that I think was very useful to him.
Yes.
Your interview panel this year was composed of veteran journalist Howie Severino, actor, and also super academic achiever.
Yes, and ambassador of
GMA, Benjamin Alves, who graduated summa cum laude, by the way.
Yes, wow, AB English Literature.
Wow. And actor
Mr.
Rocasino, who's actually a nurse by profession.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes,
I didn't know
graduated
that.
nursing. Okay, so how was it? How was the interview like?
It was
What were you asked?
It was very casual. Like, it was really very casual. It's like, mura na kag nakig-storya to a friend. And you were just like really conversing casually, and like they were asking what were you doing during this college and during college, and then what do you do now? So basically, one question that really made a mark in me was when Mr. Howie Severino asked me about why would you like to pursue really journalism. So that was the time that I really expressed to him what is happening already in Cebu, which is the killings, and I would really like to help as a journalist to write comprehensive stories and help in the decision making of the people, and for them to like really become very critical in reading and digesting information. So that's it. Basically, just really very casual. Dili gid siya ingon nga kanang grabe kay. I think they've already read everything naman sa bitbook.
Yes,
What they need to see na lang is really you as a person.
Correct.
So I actually thrown jokes, like I told Mr. Roconasin, sir, pares tag na. And they were all laughing. Siya, oh, wala na pa akong trabaho bukas. So I was just really like joking around sa interview, and yes, I was just taking advantage of the opportunity of facing to them, because it's not every day that you're gonna face Howie Severino, diba?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. How about during your time, Lee?
It's
Who
very
were in the panel?
I think the only one that's not there is Rocco Nasino, because that time my panel was still Sir Howie Severino and still Sir Benjamin Alves, and the third one is Sir Michael V.
I see.
The very bubbly one.
Yeah.
Yes. So at that time as well, just like I've also talked about my experience to Mark, just like what he did. The interview went on casually because ako said, as a person myself, I don't want to be subjected in a situation na it's too stiff, it's too, oh my god. So I wanted it to be something light, something conversational, because as like Mark had mentioned already, what they want to see is you as a person. They already know that you excel in the things that you do.
Because you can always list all your achievements, but your personality will never.
Yeah, it will never be reflected in papers.
But not fully. They have to talk to you and see it. And of course, you have to test your sincerity.
Yes, very true. And they're also very, in my case, I don't know if it's still the same with you, they were very particular with what are your values in current issues, what are your values in doing the things, what were your weaknesses. That was a very difficult question for me at that time. So they really wanted to get to know you deeper, even with a little time. And then, because what they wanted to see is how your story would affect as well of the other youth, and what lessons could they derive from you? How could someone strive to become excellent despite limited resources or different challenges?
So what were your answers? How did you answer? When you were asked, because
I believe.
what were your answer? When you were asked what your weaknesses are? Because I think this is one of the most difficult questions.
This was very difficult. I can't really recall my exact words at that time because I was quite nervous, although things were quite light. If I were to answer it again now, what was my weakness is that it's the difficulty for saying no. If someone asks a favor out of me and I think I can really help that person, I will really say yes, but then the burden will be on me. I don't know. I said yes to her, I said yes to him, so how am I gonna do all of this? And then because of that, I had a difficulty of time seeing my parents, seeing my family members. So somehow that kept me lost in touch with the supposedly important things. So out of that experience, I really did try. Until now, I'm slowly trying to say no to some things that I think they're not really necessary, or there's someone better who can do it for me. It doesn't have to be always me.
Yes.
There are other people who can take your place as well.
That's okay. That's part of growing up. Realizing that you can't actually say no.
No, yes.
What about you? What were the, aside from Howie's question of why you want to pursue journalism, what were the other questions asked? The challenging ones.
I think he asked me about, I could not recall already, kalimot ko, but nasa yung pangutana about, like for example, Mr. Benjamin Alves asked me about how you're able to overcome struggles during college. So, like and also how are you ready to be bashed when you become a journalist? So that was a question from Mr. Javi Severino.
Okay.
Because I told him that media nowadays is facing a lot of challenges, and one of which is really bashing because daghan na kayong source of information on nata kayo kinsay tinuod.
Yes.
So muna I told him that bashing is part of it, and then if you know where you stand, and if you know your principles, and if you're doing the right thing, wala kang gitamakan nga tao, it's okay to say something sakto jud. And then mo to siya akong i-impart sa sila. Just sincere lang because ako yung pangstorya, wala jud sugar coating. I was just really very straight to the point nga. When it comes to bashing, sir, I think it's part of the responsibility nga ato ang gidala as journalists.
Because you can never really please everyone.
Yes. I mentioned that as well.
Yeah, because and today on social media and with social media, everyone has an opinion.
Yes, everyone has to say.
Well, social media has empowered everyone. So this is it now. I mean, we in the media have been among those among the first to actually call for people empowerment through social media. And this is it now. This is it. So yeah, we cannot be onion skin with how people react.
Yes,
And as long as we are confident of the information that we give, that it is really the truth, then there's nothing to be afraid of.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah. Okay. Marco is 50,000
Richer right now. I know.
Aside from the plaque, the winners also received 50,000 in cash from GMA. Do you have a GMA contract now?
Not yet, sir. not yet. There was no formal offer, but hopefully.
Okay. How was it there? Because aside from your interview and of course your meeting with the bosses in GMA, you also went around. You toured around their studios. I think you had a picture of you at the 7:24 Horas.
Yes, we were immersed to the different studios in GMA, grabe, and I was really overwhelmed. We met there, Ms. Maki Polido and Sir Mark Salazar. They were shooting a new segment, and then I also got the chance to meet Heart Evangelista when she was shooting an online segment as well in GMA. And I think wala kami na sugatan dun ng journals because at that time dili jud nila shooting hours.
Yeah.
But I was just really surprised along newsroom nindot kayo the ako na to mga tao mag-work. I can really see myself there.
Okay, the reason I asked is because I want to know if that, if not reignite, pushed you further, the interest to be in journalism.
It did actually, sir. Mura bitaw ka na kanos ako maka-work dire. I really wanted to work.
Because the reality is, out of, for example, 35 graduates in a mass comm batch, only a few actually pursue real journalism work.
It's a blessing if you have one or two.
Yes, that's already. It's quite ironic. What about you? Did other areas interest you, or is the interest to be in journalism still there?
In mass communication good, there are a lot of kanang fields. So when I graduated, during my internship, it was the time that helped me good na I will pursue journalism when I graduate, because many were called but only few are chosen. So muna siya nga, I was also interested in filmmaking before. I was interested in production, in advertising, in the corporate side, but I really want to pursue and to really work in the media as of now.
Yeah. And also, these times, these are very challenging times among journalists.
Yes.
journalists get killed here and there. I'm not sure if we have already, if the numbers have changed, but we are still the number 2 most dangerous place for journalists to practice, next to Iraq, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think that's your thesis, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Syria is number 1.
Yes.
Yeah. So after you were awarded, with the GMA, how did that affect you? Your life as a person and your professional life as now a journalist?
Okay. So first, how did it affect me? Of course, first I was very overwhelmed with the award, and then plus it really did put on some pressure on me because some people, oh my God, she won the GMA. You'll be working with GMA now. I was like. At that time, I was already employed with the Freeman, so at first I was really torn if I will accept their offer or not. So I had to, I think for almost a month, I was really like, sir, what did I choose? I really did ask advices from the editors, from my friends, and then ended up here. But then
thanks for staying.
Thanks for staying.
Of course, we wouldn't have said no had you. But of course, we cannot deny that. That's really an opportunity.
Yes, but still, I did not regret any choices that I made. I stand by it. And anyway, for now, I'm just really happy that my experience with GMA, I was able to impart it with Mark. And now that I've seen that the journey for GMA did not stop in 2017, but it still continues until now. And Mark here is one example that the GMA journey is not put to waste because it turned out to be a benefit for the other, not just for myself. So yeah, that's it. And so far for GMA also, I just find the people that I've met in the GMA head office really heartwarming. And up till now, even though I did not they're still in touch with me, and then they're still very open. They're still keeping the what do you call this, the link.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're actually sending their regards to you daw. Nakamusta si Benjamin Alves ni mo.
Here. Bye Ollie. Siya na ko yun. Joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Okay. We're very glad that you made the decision to stay not only with us but actually to do community journalism, because it's quite challenging to do community journalism. In Manila, there are many of them.
Yes.
Like covering the whole nation, there are many journalists there, but the challenges are different, the realities are different when you do community journalism because resources are not there.
Yes.
That's our reality. We don't share the same resources as our counterparts in Manila. So that's one of the major challenges of news organizations that are focused on specific communities. If you go to Mindanao, for example, that is also one of the challenges. They don't only have a challenge in resource, but also safety, security.
Yes.
Very true.
These are things that are. That's why I really look up to community journalists, particularly those working in conflict areas.
Yes.
So we might not be in a conflict zone, but we cover killings here and there, even in Cebu. So
it's true. And just because killings are not, for example, here in Cebu, killing of media journalists is not really media practitioners or journalists is not very much of a mainstream. But it doesn't mean that we are not facing threats, because there are people who are not satisfied with the things that we write about. Even though we know that it's the truth, some really does insist that no, your source is not this, you are biased. They keep on saying different things that conflicts the truth. But then the challenge there is, how are you gonna uphold your duty when you are facing these kinds of threats? They may not be physical threats, but then it affects you as a person.
Emotionally, psychologically.
Yes. And it's very tormenting to experience firsthand. For example, getting banned in an office, or getting your first what do you call it? Kasabaan ka ba? Ganun people. And then if you're gonna experience that for the first time, it feels like, oh my God, did I do something wrong? And you go onto a very deep review and meditation. What did I do? But then you end up just saying, no, I did the right thing and I should uphold it. And I think from those experiences, the more we experience intimidation and threatening, the more we stand stronger.
Yeah, the more stronger, the more strong you become. Okay, you might have been asked this many times, but I want to ask this now. Why did you two, by the way, decide to pursue mass comm or take up mass comm and journalism for what?
You first.
When I was a high school student, I'm a batang press con. So,
Yay! Hi, Sir
was-
John.
Yeah, Sir John Sacramento,
Yeah.
a very passionate
Thank you so
person
much.
for campus journalism. I was a batang press con. I was a photojournalist before, actually, and then when I saw the prospectus of our university, it got me interested. Na, oh, I will get to learn news writing, feature writing, broadcasting, all in one degree. So, mo to siya. Dito dyan nag-ignite na, sir. I would have to be honest, wala dyan ko ni look forward na, oh, kanang mass communication is public service,
Yes.
mass communication. Because as a first year student, you could not think of those
Yeah,
things.
that's true.
It's true.
Definitely.
Yes, because naganin mga misinterpretations, pag mass comm ka, mag-artista ka. So,
Yes.
diba? So, muna, really lang ang akala ng interest at that time was really photojournalism, and I really
So to
want to learn.
continue your experience
Yes.
in high school.
And
Yes.
I also, my dream also is to be one of the judges of PressCon and to really coach also a student
Yeah.
like that. And also, public speaking and broadcasting is really one of my interests at that time. So, I really chose mass comm because of those.
Oh,
I
okay.
see. What about you, Lizzie?
At first, my first choice was really medtech because I wanted to be a doctor, having my mom as a midwife. But then, due to financial constraints, and although there is scholarship, there's no assurance that 100% I can maintain it.
Yes.
And the price for medical courses is quite really ceiling high. Yeah, so
Pero mass comm is not also cheap.
yes, it's true, but it's better than yeah. So the mass communication was my second choice because just like Mark, when I was in high school, I attended the school's press conference. I was a editorial and feature writer at that time, and so after meeting some journalists in the session, so I got inspired. Oh, it's nice. My idea were it's nice to go to places that I've never been and write stories about people. And because growing up, I'm not the kind of girl that you'll see that she's been to different places because I was really like the homeschool, home church on weekends. The behaved kind of student.
Okay.
Sorry, Mom, I'm no longer behaved right now. So I wanted to go out of the usual life that I used to have. So that's why I chose journalism. And at that point, my really goal was like, I want to go write and travel. But then later on, along the journey, I've met journalists that they've made journalism not just for the sake of travel and leisure, but they've also utilized the journalism as a tool for community development, or helping different people, and then raising issues. So it really did, the 4 years of mass communication in the university really did deepen the sense of purpose within me. So that's why, for instance, we started the Project Adasig in Conquera Street. So
Tell
that was one.
Tell us about that, please.
Yes, Project Adasig is a social marketing campaign. So it started in around 2015. We wanted to, what do you call this? Kanang nakita na mo ba na issue that Conquera is labeled as a red light district, but then upon surveying, conducting interviews and focus group discussions, we've come to realize that it's existing, but it's not as much as it was before. But the stigma is still there, and the most affected ones are the little kids. But so, as communication students, what we were thinking is that, with the help, of course, of our department chair and another friend, we've come to get into the concept that if there's something negative, we can't just erase it by saying it's not there. So instead of saying that it's no longer there, we want to highlight something that they're proud of. So that's the shoemaking industry, shoe repair and shoemaking industry in Conquera Street. So it's really about it highlighting their assets and not the scars of the past. And that's a really one of the highlights of my college life and up to now. And what's really wonderful about the project is that cycle of goodness that we started. It also sprinkled and rippled to another project. So right now, another group called YMX, and then in partnership still with the group of shoe repairmen that we've organized initially, they've come to help these street children that now they are playing futsal. So it's a project that we started we were not envisioning it to be something so grand, but now it really did. We were so impressed with the results because right now we're the people that we've helped have also been helping other people. So they're starting a cycle of goodness in their community. So
This is something that one of the things you can learn in development communication.
yes, which is
One
also
of the
part
yeah,
of the
core components of a mass comm program.
yes. It's
And I would have to comment also Mitzi because tungod sa project, dagan sa kayo mga na-ignite ang passion in community service. Like for example, Lian Singkulan is also now taking over some of the
yes.
things in Pundo Kadasig as well as myself. I was able to volunteer in Ayos Batos Festival, and then it's just an amazing thing that happened. Their project did not stop really there. It was really sustainable and it helped a lot of people and students as well through volunteering.
Okay, this is a question that I think many of our viewers can relate to, so I have to ask this. The award asks for balance between academic performance, leadership, and social responsibility. When you were in college, you were of course SSC president, you graduated cum laude, and of course you had many activities outside of school. How did you manage your time properly? Because it's easy to say it's all about time management, but how do you actually do that? Can you give our viewers, the young ones who are still in college and who might want to go into leadership or student service, concrete tips?
You really have to prioritize what is necessary as of the moment. So when you go to college, you did not go there to become an SSC president. You are enrolled in college because you're a student at the very beginning, in the very first place. So you really have to do your best in academics because that's the really reason when you enroll in college. Wala ka enroll in college because you want to be
Because
a
of the
leader,
extracurricular
because of this
activities.
award.
Okay.
You enroll because you want to be a student. So you really have to prioritize your academics. You don't have really to compromise it. As well as ako as a type of person, it makes me whole and it makes me more human if I engage myself into community activities and extra and co-curricular activities.
Why?
So because dili ko contented nga magsigira basa og libro, nga magsigira og kanang tuon. I really want to involve myself into community because it makes me aware of the things that's happening in the society. And I think I would have to say nga para nako mas brighten ko sa tao nga aware sa community issues and at the same time doing ko din sa academics rather than magsigira kag tuon.
Purely code.
Yes. And you just really have to find your passion and to find what you love to do, and that will lead you to somewhere because I also love hosting and also do hosting and I earn out of it. So it's really lisod yun mag-balance, but if you really love what you do and then if kibaw ka nga you're at the right track with the right group of people, with the right types of mentors, you will really go somewhere.
Yes. As for me, ako ang person nga self-conscious and the very person nga I'm my greatest critic.
We should be our own
yes.
greatest critics.
Yeah. So what I really did sa college is that you look back and then you think about what kind of person was I, what kind of person am I now, and then I try to see things na okay in terms of academics, am I better now or back then in terms of spirituality. So ako ay tawag different aspects in life that I have to always check. So muna siya constant
yourself.
assessment, and that's one of the key one of the factors nga akong i-consider to balance my time. Because when I find too much academics, so I need to spend more time doing this. Because this is all those aspects. It's like the contents of my heart. So there's a love for the academics, there's a love for spirituality, there's a love for the community. If something goes missing or something goes unattended, it feels like I'm not productive or I'm not myself at all. So I need to fill that cup with the experiences. So it's not all the time that I'm really the studious type of student, but there are times that I need to
Hindi ka
let
pa studious nun magna cum laude.
Studios, sir.
Di ba? If there are experiences that are worth trading for example, maybe I can skip this class para
Yes.
maka-feel ko aning experience nga karon na mabot, then I'll grab that
Yes.
experience. So
Same.
it's
Okay.
about trading
Yes.
and then
Making
seeing,
right decisions.
making right decisions and
And even making wrong decisions.
yes,
That's really what
Yeah.
college life is all about.
Yeah.
It's really the time where we get to know ourselves
Mhm.
better,
yeah.
and we will never know if we did the right or wrong thing if we don't get to do the wrong things.
Yes.
Right? It's many of us are afraid to do the wrong things, and
Yes.
many young people say they're always afraid to do the wrong things, but that's actually how we learn.
Yes.
That's why we're
So,
growing up.
really
Taking risks.
taking risks, and of course it's not really about college life is not really just about securing that your grades are always on the top class,
Which should still be a priority.
still be a priority, but
Don't
it
get us
doesn't
wrong.
didn't get us wrong. Just because you want to aim high doesn't mean you have to let go of the other kinds of
Yes.
experiences, because it's not always about the goal. It's also about the journey along the way. What kind of experiences
That
you
actually, yeah,
In
that
between.
saying still works.
Yes.
The journey is as important as the destination.
Yes.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
And I think I have to agree because it's not always academics in college.
Mm.
Yes, your Latin honors will get you somewhere, but many companies in the professional world, if you're already in the professional world,
Mm.
also look for people.
Mm.
Many of them actually give high importance to leadership backgrounds.
Yes.
Leadership experience. How do you deal with others, and how do you measure yourself as far as service is concerned? And you don't get to experience this if you don't engage yourself
Yes.
in
Yes. Yes.
extracurricular activities.
Mm.
One good example that I could give, sir, was when I was an SSC president.
Mm.
So if I was not given that opportunity, wala ko yung linkages to people from corporate world that I was able to utilize now that I am working already. So it's really a
Yeah.
plus
Mm.
when you involve yourselves, when you involve yourself into these things. Kay ikaw naman sa the end, ikaw na sa mo makagamit.
Yeah, the
diba?
benefits. The practical side of it is establishing a network
Yes.
of people, because whether you like it or not, the reality is in the real world, so to
Mm.
speak. We're not saying the world inside school is not real,
Yes.
but
Yes.
when you go out of school, network.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
network really helps.
It's very true. And for another example would be, there are things that you get to do after you graduate that you have experienced before. If you've been to organizations, for example, organizing events, although that's not really part of the very strict academic track, but then along the way, when you get to the real world,
Yeah.
you really have to do some socializing,
Yes,
organizing,
yes.
and stuff. So it's really neat. For me, it's really important that you get to experience this during the college life, because by then there are mentors that can
Yes.
say that
That's true.
That's
true.
it could have been done better if you did
Yes.
this, and there are so
Yes.
many what they call these tips and
Yeah.
guidances that they can
Because
give
aside
you.
from our teachers, we also have our ates and kuyas,
Yes.
these organizations who can guide us. Because really, especially if you are someone who aims of a high position in a company, for example,
Mm.
a major part of that is your leadership skills.
Mm.
Because if you occupy a high position in a company, definitely there will be people under you.
You have to manage.
You'll have to manage people. And
Mm.
how can you manage people if you don't get to do that when you're young? So that's really these are really good tips.
Yes.
And that's really a thing that could not be taught.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's not
in the
really
classroom.
in classrooms.
Classrooms. Yeah, that's true. And that's why it's many institutions would always lobby for holistic development.
Yes.
It's not just about the academics. Then again, we have to emphasize it's still the number one priority of all the priorities. Especially if you're gunning for a GMA award.
Yes.
That's one of the requirements.
Just make sure that you won't fail. I just like have to share this. Before I have my and I think 3 friends of mine, what we do is that we tend to check how many is the allowable absences. And then, okay, I have an event with this one, so this is where I'm gonna spend it. And then we can exhaust it. So it's really part of management, though.
Yes.
That's really one concrete tip that we can give you.
Yeah. Because, if for example, because if you look at it, if an academic institution or a school allows you this number of absences, that means you'll still be fine.
Yes.
If you have this number of absences, you'll still be fine. So, you exhausted the number of absences. But for your benefit also.
Yes.
Of course,
So
of
for
course.
something else. Okay, I managed to ask a few words from a good friend of mine, the head of GMA Regional TV,
Wow.
Oliver Victor Amoroso,
Hi, Sir Oliver.
who was also one of those who part of the preliminary screening
Yes.
of the applicants. And he says, on behalf of GMA Regional TV, I congratulate this year's GMA Network Excellence Award Communication Category winner, Mark Roland Romas of USJR. I am happy to meet him in Manila and review his work as one of the preliminary screeners of this year's GMA. He has proven that BizDocs are nationally competitive.
Tinood yun.
And here,
Yes.
and this one, he wants this addressed to the two of you because I also told him that you'll be in the panel. Don't stop and rest on your laurels. Continue to seek higher learning, and as you achieve and accomplish more, pay it forward.
Oh.
And as a young Filipino leader, I encourage the two of you to be ambassadors of GMA Regional TV's campaign #SpreadKindness. And they say that in a world where you can be anything, start with being kind. Be part of the movement and be the ripple because kindness starts from within. Thank you very much for these encouraging words, Oliver.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, finally, what are your tips to those who would like to, one of these days, get the same plaque?
You just really have to follow what you love to do, and then everything will follow. Just remain humble, and then I think if you have that kind of humility, and then if you have that kind of mindset that you can do this, the optimism, you will go somewhere. And then for me, I'm not the type of person who will plan all the things that I do.
Yes.
I'm so spontaneous. I did not plan this when I went to college. Yes.
Neither do
so,
I.
Yeah. So murag ka na bitang, you just have to really be optimistic, believe in yourself, and at the same time, always be grounded to your values.
Okay, I have to interrupt. If you have achieved this much at a very young age, both of you, how do you manage to remain humble?
Yeah.
How do you manage to remain grounded? Because I'm a journalist, so I always ask the why and the how questions.
Yes, yes.
Because it's easy to say, be humble all the time, stay grounded all the time despite your achievements. But how do you exactly manage to do that despite all your achievements?
Okay, I'll start this time. Actually, being humble with all these awards that you have garnered in the past years, it's not really what you call this a simple task. There are, as for me, I really had experiences that, oh my god, di naman dito siya maayo. Looking back, because sometimes you get too carried away with the award, and then first tip that I could really give is that you need to have good friends and tell them that it's okay to tell me if I've gone out of my zone.
That's actually one of the tests.
Yes.
One of the proofs that your friends are actually real friends.
Yes.
Only real friends tell you things other people don't dare.
Yes. Because at different times, they were saying, oh, yun, nagkana kay kag awards and stuff, but kana ko sa hinahinay lang ha. So, they keep on saying that. And then, at that time, I'll be reminded that, tama. And then, aside from that, is that you also need to, because having garnered so many awards, it doesn't entitle you to may ka, hoy, kabawa ka nga, excellence award ko, hoy, kabawa ka. You don't need to shout out to the world what you have done, but rather let the world find out, unsay imuha, unsa day ka, and let them be surprised na lang. Because at the end of the day, dili man na mo, ako personally, it doesn't matter what awards you have garnered, GMA Excellence or Best Reporter, Manna Cum Laude and stuff. At the end of the day, what matters is what you are as a person and what you are to your friends and to your family. Mao dyan na siya. Always think about what kind of person do you want to be for yourself and for the people that you love.
Your core values.
Your core values is very important in order to stay humble despite all the successes that you have.
Good.
In my opinion, actually, I don't see myself humble because sometimes I really am very expressive to only limited number of people. And the same with me, so I tell them that guys, if nasubraan na gani, just really tell me. Ayun mo gagawa, just give me feedback if nasobraan na, if nadako na akong ulo because di ba din nakabantay sa akin because we're carried away sometimes. And also, one most important thing is that if nakay something like an achievement, you should not see yourself better than anyone else.
Yes.
Kaya it doesn't, yung ganyan na nga, an award will not define as a person na mas maayo ka niya, kaya naagi yung strengths and weaknesses ang isang tao. So, and this is your strength and that is your weakness. You have to appreciate and accept it. So it's just it. We're all human beings, and then the best way to be grounded is, again, also another thing is to always look back where you came from, diba? Always thank the professors, my professors in Bangkal National High School, in Bangkal National High School, in University of San Jose Recoletos, because these people helped you to know yourself and to become the person that you are right now.
Say hi to our colleague in the Cebu Media, your dean,
Yeah.
in USJR.com, Professor Dr. Nestor Ramirez. Okay, thank you very much for your your sharing today, your reflections, and what are your hopes? I'd like to know your hopes for the industry.
As for me, I really do hope that real journalism should not be swayed with all the temptations coming in, especially that elections are coming, and then with all this killings going on. I really do hope that the real journalists really remain strong with their values, and that they do not forget their ethics, very importantly, because at the end of the day, it's not what you do as a journalist will not only reflect to you as an individual, but it will reflect as well to the doings of your colleagues. So if na magbinawhag na ng usa, it will not just be reflected na ikaw rin ang binawhag.
Not even
It will
just
be
the company.
not even just
industry.
the company, but also the industry. So yes, that's also one. And then second is that I really do hope that fake news and the spreading of harmful information is a really big challenge for the media industry right now. I know that it's really hard to combat these kinds of challenges that we have today. We cannot always make everyone understand what is the process of reporting, because sometimes they say, this journalist is so biased, this one. But in fact, we're only writing the opinions that we have garnered from our sources. So I hope we do not stop and become discouraged with the negative feedbacks that we've heard. I hope, especially that September is coming.
Exactly.
Press Freedom Week.
Advanced Happy Press Freedom Week 2018
Yes.
to all our colleagues in Cebu.
Initially, you Miss Press.
No!
Miss Press.
My lips are sealed.
Mine too.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my hopes for the journalists of today. We remain ethical and we uphold the values of true and ethical journalism.
Yes.
What about you, Mark?
I
They have to join.
Yes.
But you were technically part of the profession already during your internship days. What are your hopes? Where are we going with all the challenges?
For me, I would like to impart this na to those aspiring journalists, the communication students who wishes to be in the industry. Just really, when you're still a student, practice already the ethics.
Yes.
Practice to not accept envelopes, practice to do comprehensive writing, because along the way, if magbuhat na kasi mo internship, dili na lisod,
Yes.
diba? And then you become professional na as well. And then also, I would like to also impart this to the consumers of information, the citizens or the social media users, to really be critical in reading the pieces of information that you are reading. I do hope that we become catalysts of change to this very simple way of verifying the information that we share, that we read, and that we digest. I think that's it.
Yes, it's really true. And I'd like to add also that excellence is not a one-time, big-time shot. Excellence is a habit and not something that you achieve just by one award. So,
That's very true. I have to agree. Our guests today in the Freeman Conversations, GMA awardees, GMA Network Excellence Award recipients 2017, Lorraine Midzi Abrad, reporter in the Freeman, and of course our former intern in the Freeman, who will soon be joining the industry, and 2018 GMA awardee in communication, Mark Roland Romas. Congratulations to you, Mark, and to you, Midzi. Belated congratulations. Belated congratulations to And of course, again, we'd like to congratulate the awardee in the technology category, John Elmar Loretizo from Central Philippine University in Iloilo, as well as one of the finalists in the technology category, Edward Cabajo from Cebu Technological University, and of course all the finalists from Lyceum University in Batangas, University of the East, Far Eastern University, and Xavier University. Congratulations to all of you and to GMA Network for again another successful round of GMA Network
Excellence Award.
Thank you very much for once again proving that indeed, as my friend Oliver puts it, let me see. Asa naman tayo yung Okay,
Is there
these
something like that,
labs
sir? Okay,
are
go.
nationally competitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're about to say something?
Before I would like to thank naman po sir the people no that really.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, is it okay, sir?
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much, University of San Jose Recoletos, most especially the Department of Journalism and Communications, the Student Affairs Office, the Property Administrator's Office for helping and reproducing my bid books, and then also the Supreme Student Council, and yes, thank you so much for helping me, my family, Mama Jojo and Papa. Thank you so much.
Okay, it's actually good that you interrupted me because I failed to ask a final question.
How did I?
Yes. Asa mo kang libre na?
Ganahan kay ko.
Di ba? It's a nice question.
Next question. Very
If I'm
relevant.
cash, ano,
Asa mo kang libre and when is it? Actually, again, thank you very much for
Thank you,
being
sir.
here, and thank you for proving yet again that these ducks are indeed nationally competitive. And to all of you watching us right now, thank you for joining us on a Saturday, and join us again next time because as we always say here at the Freeman, every story is a conversation.